moving people that have either questionable credentials or questionable characters, or there's a cloud hanging over their head, to portfolios in government. It's happened before. Remember Faith Mutambi? Remember Faith Mutambi? My goodness. Remember Batabile Dlamini? What about Malusi Gigaba? Who mostly, though, was there. Wasn't he there mostly during President Jacob Zuma's tenure? Figile Mbalula was there as well. And I'm talking here broadly about the ANC. That's why I said this is how the ANC has always been doing things. So we shouldn't act as though this is the first time. Oh my goodness, how dare the president move this woman when there are all these allegations? There've always been allegations against senior leaders of the ANC, and that's never stopped any ANC president from deploying them to significant positions. Figilemba Nomvula Mokonyane, remember that? I can go on and on and on. It doesn't start with Thembi Simelane. Yes, it doesn't make it right. But this is not the first time that the ANC operates in this manner. I suppose it's the point I'm trying to make. 15 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, let's go to some more WhatsApp voice notes that are coming on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Clement. It's Tuso here. Clement, the ANC sold us this thing that they were going to be cleansing themselves. But now, regarding this issue, Thembi Simelane, I don't think they are doing what they said they were going to be doing. They're just lying to the public. Really, this is it's absurd, Clement, to say but the least. They should have been doing things the right way, but they are upping the scales. And I think they are just nailing themselves down. Come the next elections, they'll even get a worse mark. Thank you, Clement. It's Tuso here.
Tuso, do you still believe in the ANC's renewal agenda? It's so funny even talking about it. My goodness. How long has the ANC been talking about the renewal agenda? I'm sorry. I don't believe that. I do not believe that, because the ANC has said one thing and its actions have contradicted the very essence and intention of that renewal campaign or renewal agenda, whatever you want to call it. Are there still people who believe that the ANC is on the path to renewal and it's serious about cleansing itself?
Good morning, Jabuchilwane in Mkondo. It has not been proven in a court of law that Simelane did corruption. So I really don't agree with those who say she should be fired. We could have done the same mistake with Kodongwana. Do you remember when someone accused him of improperly touching a woman, sexual harassment and stuff like that a few years ago? And he maintained that he's innocent. It showed in a few months later that he was being sabotaged, and that is why we still have him. If Ramaphosa fired him, we could have lost a good guy because of the spiteness of some other people. So even her, she's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, Jabu, and I think that's a fair point you're raising. Do we expect the ANC president or the president of the republic to act based on allegations, or do we expect him to act when people have actually been charged? Well, I would argue that this is a president who has always claimed to espouse and embrace ethical leadership. So there are obviously a legal process here to consider. There are legal principles, of course, that you must consider. Everybody is until proven guilty. They're what? You are innocent. Yes, you are innocent until proven guilty, right? That's a legal principle. But there are also ethical principles. And President Cyril Ramaphosa has always claimed to be a leader who pushes for those ethical principles and values. And those actually mean when there's overwhelming evidence, when there are allegations that are disturbing, some of which cannot be explained, against some of your leaders in cabinet, what do? Remember Zweli Mkhize? Remember Zweli Mkhize when the revelations were coming out, left, right, center, about, what was that scandal? Yeah, Zweli Mkhize. Zweli Mkhize during COVID, Digital Vibes. Remember Digital Vibes? The Daily Maverick did an incredible job in uncovering how monies were flowing to people linked to the then Minister of Health, Zweli Mkhize. What did the president do? Nothing. Until Zweli Mkhize had to resign. And in fact, it was so weird because it was clearly the president. Imagine the strong message that an action from the president would have sent had he decided, I'm removing Zweli Mkhize, as opposed to wait for Zweli Mkhize to resign out of his own volition. But I get your point about the legal principle. Look at what happened with Zizi Kodwa. Imagine a president comes and says, I'm removing you because the Hawks are busy investigating you. And then the Hawks come and say, well, the NPA comes and says, well, we're going to drop the charges against this person because there's not enough evidence. But again, I'm going to repeat that ethical principles do justify an action that would require someone to just take special leave, someone to take some time off while they're clearing their name. But that's not an organization that respects those ethical principles, even though they claim to. I've actually come to understand about the nature of politics. There are so many interested parties that you have to consider. That is why when the president announces a cabinet reshuffle or announces his cabinet during the beginning of an administration, or when there are major changes that are made, he is going to consult with a number of stakeholders. And I think that's exactly what the president has done this time around. I'm not saying the move that is made is justified, but I'm saying let's try to be consistent as well. Why are you questioning the move of Thembi Simelane to human settlement, but are you okay with Zizi Kodwa, who was at sports and arts and culture? Are you okay with, who else? Who's at mineral resources? Gwede Mantashe, who's at mineral resources. Are you okay with, who else? In the GNU, at least, there are some ministers that have actually come in, right, that are coming from other political parties. But there are instances in the past where the ANC has brought in what was clearly incompetent people in specific portfolios. So let's not act as though this is the first time that a minister or the president appoints a minister to a particular portfolio when the minister has questionable either credentials or has a questionable character or has a cloud hanging over their head. This is not the first time, so let's not pretend like it is. This has been the nature of how the ANC does its politics. It doesn't start now with Thembi Simelane. And it's not going to end now with Thembi Simelane. That is why the president will go and appoint David Mahlobo, even when a report that he had commissioned himself on the State Security Agency told us that David Mahlobo, when he was DG or minister in the State Security Agency, that's when that agency was doing the bidding for Jacob Zuma. That's when that agency was mismanaged. The president commissioned that report. The independent panel report comes back and says, here's what we have found about State Security Agency. And it flags David Mahlobo. It also flags Arthur Fraser. What does the president do? Appoints David Mahlobo back into cabinet. Takes Arthur Fraser and says, I'm going to reward you. Go and be the commissioner at the correctional services. All I'm saying is, let's not pretend like this is the first time it happens with Thembi Simelane. It's not a surprise. It's been happening all the time. That's how the ANC does its deployment.